Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Piano Star Masterclass. I'm your host, Brian Lin. Before we start the show today, I'd just like to tell you guys about a new exciting piano competition that we've started at the Piano League. We have the Piano Star International Competition. Be sure to check that out. It's open to pianists up to 18 years old. It's a virtual competition. People play live via Zoom for the judges in the final round. So check it out. So today we have our guest teacher, Benjamin Steinhardt. He is known for his innovative teaching with an emphasis on creativity and exploration. His teaching incorporates concepts from the Talman approach, Edwin Gordon music learning theory, and Dalcour's and somatic education. He also regularly adjudicates young musician festivals and competitions. Today, he'll be discussing the 5 virtuoso moves at the piano. It's an honor to have you on the show, Ben.
Hey, Brian.
How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to see you. First of all, how are you doing in this pandemic? That's the first question I ask every guest.
I'm doing okay. I'm here in, like you, I'm sort of in the New York region, which we were hit very hard in March and April, and things have calmed down a little bit here. And I just spent basically much of my life on Zoom teaching piano, so it could be worse. But
right.
But I want to apologize right away. My piano is not perfectly in tune because I haven't been able to have a tuner in here since February or something. But
me too.
Doing the best we can. Yeah.
That's totally. Since March, I think everyone started their new life on Zoom basically, or on other types of platforms, online platforms. So today we have a interesting topic. Choreography on the piano, right? The 5 virtuoso moves. So first I want to ask you, why do you think this topic is important to you? Why are we talking about this today?
Okay, so what I find with most pianists is when they run into a problem in a piece or something, whether it's they can't play it fast enough, or they feel tight, or they feel tense, or they can't get the sound they want, they try to solve that problem through repetition. So playing it over and over and over and over again. And sometimes they get a little more sophisticated. They might practice a problem spot with some rhythms like ba 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 ba, or they might slowly inch up the metronome. Sometimes they'll ask their teacher or look in a book for some exercises and hoping that'll solve the problem. But my experience is that when we get the choreography, the way we move in a passage just right, we can bypass most of that repetition.
So it's about avoiding mistakes, would you say? It's avoiding taking a long path to success.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder. So things that often seem impossible, things like double thirds and things like that for pianists, if you know exactly how to move repeated octaves, if you know exactly how to move, they suddenly feel easy. And this is what happens with child prodigies. Whether it's because their teacher showed them, or a lot of times it's intuitive, they just find the way they need to move in their body, and they don't actually have to practice that much. They just, find it in themselves.
Right. Okay. So why don't you start telling us your secrets?
Okay. So I can't show you how to solve every problem with the piano in 45 minutes or something. And these are all things that, are best worked at very carefully with the teacher, because how you do them is just as important as the move itself. But I just want to give a quick overview of 5 basic moves that really comprise everything we do at the piano. How you do it takes a whole lifetime to do really well. But if you know what the 5 moves are, you can start looking through your repertoire and you can start problem solving. You can say, what am I missing here? What am I overdoing here that is causing me to have a challenge with this? So I didn't come up with these on my own. I'm going to give them my own little spin so they're easily memorable. But these are Dorothy Taubman's, who is a great piano pedagogue, died in 2013. She lived to be in her late 90s. And she lived in Brooklyn. Veda Kaplinsky, who is a longtime head of Juilliard School, studied with her, and many other fabulous people. I'll show you the 5 basic movements, and you can sort of guess what they are. Okay, The first is going to be an up and down movement.
Mm-hmm.
The second is going to be a side-to-side movement. The third is going to be a forward and backward movement. And then, okay, so we've taken care of 3 dimensions. Now we have a couple more that apply to the piano. The next one is going to be a rotational movement. And finally, I'll do this in the air like this, but it's actually going to be more sort of wrist-oriented. We're going to make circles. So we can go in 3 directions plus rotation and circles, and I'll take you through each one of these. But I sort of like the idea of calling them moves because I've been watching Cobra Kai on Netflix, and I'm going back to when I was a kid and watched, Karate Kid and Ralph Macchio learns. I always love that scene: wax on, wax off, paint the fence, sand the floor, and it doesn't feel like he's learning anything. And then he puts them all together, and he's able to, fight everybody or whatever he does in the film. So,
sounds good to me, of course.
So let me take them through you one by one. Before I even do that, I do need to take a little detour and just talk about 2 very important things: alignment, essentially the shape of our body, and balance, how we balance into a key. And a little bit this you may have heard other of your speakers say, so this may be nothing new. But if we don't have our alignment and balance, it doesn't matter what the movements are, it's not going to work. And the flip side is, if you move in the wrong way, you're probably going to lose your alignment and your balance. It's going to get you off. So it's this nice, thing where it interacts with itself. So the first thing we need to do is sit well at the keyboard. And I can see if I can give you a little view here of me sitting at the keyboard. Okay, I'm going to sit at the piano.
All right.
And we want our arm to be more or less level with the top of the white keys. Some people sit slightly higher, some people are exactly level. Either of those should be fine. What you don't want to be is too low because then it forces the fingers to grips, or so high that you feel like you really can't connect with the instrument. We want our feet to be supported. And my saying for this is good hand position, good hand posture starts with the feet. So if you have a younger student whose feet don't quite reach the floor, they can use a step stool or a foot pedal or whatever, but we want to be very connected to the floor. And we don't want to line our feet up with the pedals, which I think is something that pianists tend to get up with. They tend to sort of put everything squeezed together. You can have your right foot sort of closer to the pedal, but you can have your left foot out until you need to use it for the unicorn or something. And then, let's see if I can give you a view. This is something that may not have been discussed before. We have these hip bones right here. And these hip bones are great because they can rotate and they can go in circles and semicircles and things. So if you go like this is great because rather than sort of lurching ourselves over, you can use this movement of the hip bones to get you wherever you need to be at the piano. And there's a great video of Rubinstein playing in Moscow in which you watch him and it doesn't seem like he's doing anything. He looks like he's perfectly mobile. And if you look at his hip bones, they're growing all over the place. And then finally, we want to be sitting high enough so that we have this little decline from our hips to our knees. Okay. Next, we need to talk about hand shape. So I always hear lots of things. Are the fingers curved? Are they curled? Are they flat? Are they whatever? There's a very easy way to find a good hand shape. And I'm going to quote Dr. Teresa Dybvig. She likes to say, we all carry a model of perfect alignment around with us at all times. It's the shape of the hand and forearm while it hangs at our side. So when we're walking down the street or something, this is the perfect hand shape. And we don't have to really do anything except bring it to the keyboard exactly as it is. So if I show you my hand like so forth, you'll notice a few things. There's a little space between the fingers, but they're not squeezed together, and they're not pulling apart. The main knuckle is the most prominent part. We have a good curve on our middle knuckles, and then these nail joints are a little flatter. We have a level wrist so that our hand and our wrist are in one piece. And we'll show some wrist movements and things later. This is sort of your set place for where you know you're going to start. You always want to have a good set place. We may move out of this position just like we may move out of, sitting tall or something in our posture. But we want to know where this set place is. The other thing that gets people a lot is I call this the tulip. this thing's here, because it's sort of like the thumb and the flower here. And what people do is, because they get like, even like the word alignment confuses people, they try to line up like certain fingers, or they try to make like one side of the hand in line or something. It's none of that. You just have to find exactly where it is when your hand hangs by the side of your body, because it's not exactly in straight lines. It's just not the way our skeletal system is made up.
Right.
And also importantly, I think, is our thumb acts as an extension of the forearm. So if you see a lot of the thumb drooping like that, it's a big heavy muscle here. It's far and away the largest muscle mass in terms of the intrinsic muscles of the hands, the muscles within there. So if you do that, everything's going to pull down. You're going to lose your knuckles here. It's bad news bears. So, okay, that is alignment in a nutshell. Let me now go to balance. We all know what it's like feeling off balanced. If you're like this, it doesn't feel too good. If you're like this, it doesn't feel too good, et cetera, et cetera. There are two ways to balance at the keyboard. And what we want balance to feel like is very much like standing on the floor. So the first way is our side-to-side balance. So let me show you the side-to-side. See if I can give you a good hand shot from them. There we go. We basically want our arm to feel as if it were like just resting on a tabletop or something, so that our arm is parallel to the floor. So if I were to drop into this key right here, what I would feel is that if I were to flip my hand upside down and I had eyeballs on the bottom of my hand, the eyeballs would be facing the floor. Also, it's worth noticing that fingers 2 and 3, if I were to point up to these knuckles right here and they had laser beams on them, they would be shooting up to the sky. 4 and 5, just the way the hand naturally curves, probably are a little bit shooting that way. That's perfectly fine. We don't want to try to make everybody straight again. We don't necessarily have straight lines in the body. But this is our side-to-side balance. What happens if people start tilting too much to one side, like this? It's like pinky fingers go popping up. They tilt too much this way, they tend to often lose this knuckle joint here. So a lot of times when I see alignments or poking fingers, it's because someone is tilting. And it should be said, again, we do get to do all sorts of rotational movements and things. This is all about the very moment we play the key. We could, of course, go past that, etc. But when we play the key, we want to see that we're in balance. Okay, now the second part of balance is balance with the key itself. So on an acoustic instrument, this doesn't work on digitals, unless they're hybrid. There's a little bump near the bottom of the key. This little bump is magic. This little bump is where the sound is produced. So when you play through that bump, the hammer hits the string and the sound has been produced. By the time we get to the bottom, to the key bed, we can't do anything. The sound has already been made. So what we want to ensure is that we play through the escapement there, through that little bump, and we rest at the bottom of the key. We don't want to dig into it, because that's way too much work. And we don't want to get so nervous about it that we're sort of hovering up in the air. We just want to be in that magic place where we feel like the hand and arm are supported by the finger. Okay, now that we get some very quick sort of basics, we're ready for our 5 moves.
Great.
So, first move. First move is going to be the up and down movement, and I call it the high five. So you can do this if you're in the audience. It's not hard to do. If you have someone near you, you can.
I'll do it with you.
High five. Yes, please do it with me. Pretend you have someone and give them a nice high five. Nice. Yeah, give them a proper high five. Right. There you go. Nice.
There we go.
So when we do a high five, we are moving from 2 places, from the elbow joint. And you'll see the upper arm comes with us, but it's like dribbling a basketball or something. It's a forearm-driven movement.
Right.
The other thing you may feel when you're doing a high five is that there's some action in the palm. And this is the only one that's really 2 movements in one. Because we've got to move from 2 places. We have to drop from the elbow joint, and we also have to drop from this main knuckle joint, what they call the MCPs right here. So what I like to do with students, and I do this with like 4 and 5-year-olds, and I also do it with people who are coming in to do technical work with me, is we could start with maybe a huge one to feel the motion. like we're, I don't know, lifting and dropping our drawbridge or something. And then we can gradually get smaller, and all you really need in the end is enough to drop. And so forth. Okay, that's our first one. And it should be mentioned, this one's sublimated into other ones. So, but it has to always be there, because we always want to have the feeling that our finger is supported by the arm, and with that, the torso and everything. If you're just playing fingers, the fingers are not really weak enough, or are too weak to really do anything on their own. They really need the support of everybody else. And usually technical problems are because, you know, everybody else is not playing their role, and then we have to compensate in some way. Okay, second move. Oh, I did want to show you one quick thing about this, though.
Sure.
Go back to sex. We were talking about our bump and why our bump is magic. Here's why our bump is magic. This bump can act as a trampoline. It actually rebounds the key for us. And what's great about this is if we allow it to rebound the hand, we have half our work done for us. So, for instance, to play an octave or something, we can let gravity take care of the down, and the rebound of that bump take care of the up for us. So, little Lydian mode there. But next move, walking hand and arm. Okay, this is our walking move. Actually, no, I want to do rotation first. Okay, so if you turn your arm like this, we have two bones, the radius and the ulna, and they allowed us to make this motion. I'm going to call this the wave. It's not a wave like waving bye-bye, but like this is the wave like the, you know, the Queen of England makes. So it's this type of wave. And what's amazing
So this is so you're calling this your second move now.
Second move, yes.
All right. So we
yes.
skip the other ones, and then we're jumping to this one first.
Yeah. Okay. So this is number two. This
All right.
is our wave, our Queen's wave, King's wave. What do you call it? Prince's wave.
Are those your names or someone else's name?
These are my imaginary.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The technical name is forearm rotation, but we don't need to be technical. Okay.
Right.
So what's amazing about this movement is two things. One, our fingers are very fast. Our upper arm is very sluggish. Our hand does not move great side to side. It can move a little faster this way, and that's sort of useful maybe for octaves or something. But right. The fastest movement that we have in our whole playing apparatus, other than fingers, is this movement. So this allows, if we rotate with each finger, it allows each finger to feel supported. The other magic thing about this move is people always complain that their fourth finger is weak. They say that about their fifth finger too, but particularly the fourth finger. The reason they say that is because there is a tendon connecting these three fingers. In terms of grip strength, they've done studies on these things. Second finger and fourth finger are pretty much equal in grip strength studies. So it isn't that as weak. What it feels like is you can't do that very well. You can't lift it independently. The amazing thing is if you rotate, you can lift quite high with your fourth finger and play into the key. How much you need to will depend on the passage. But if I go to here, and I say do what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a 2-3 trill. Actually, no, I'll do 1 and 5 first just to show you. So we're just turning on our axis. And then what we can do is, if we're going to play 2-3 trill, what we'll do is we'll lift fingers 3, 4, and 5 together using our rotation and maybe a little action in the palm there. And then when we can lift fingers 2 and 1. And this essentially becomes a trill. The spot to watch out, there's two ways to do this. You can either do ones where you have changes of direction or where you go in the same direction. Those are more complicated. The best thing to do is find in your repertoire anytime you have a change of direction. Anything like that. And know that you're going to want to get this turn here, this little turn of your forearm. If you try to do it just with your fingers alone, it's going to be very tiring, very sluggish. Chance at the end, I'll show some examples, but let me make sure I get through all the moves. So next move, this is going to be our walking. We're going to take the dog for a walk. We're going to take our arm for a walk. Rotation's amazing. It allows us to move with great speed with the support of the forearm, but it doesn't get us anywhere. It can't get us side to side. So what's great is if we do the following. We play into the key. We lift our leg, essentially, just like we do. We swing our leg up, and then we come over. We can allow our arm to take us where we need to go. So this is the way I call it walking. It's sort of like the swing of the leg moving to your next step.
Right.
Let me show you right here. So what's amazing about this move? Okay, I can go from 1 to 5 easily enough. It's in my hand, more or less. I can do a 6. And what I can do is I can actually keep going. And so forth. Now, I don't have a huge hand. I cannot reach a 10th. But because the arm is taking me there, and the camera doesn't have enough time to come up, I can make a legato connection from over a 10th. And rather than the fingers reaching and getting stretched out and losing my hand shape and losing my knuckle bridge, my arm can be responsible for getting my next key just by going up, down, across. Sort of like a little high-fivey type of thing, or if you have a pet, it's sort of like your pet giving you their paw or whatever. So they give you a nice paw. There we go.
Right. So sort of using your whole arm and palm to do these side-to-side movements instead of just using your fingers.
Exactly. That's exactly
okay. Got it.
Okay, we're doing well.
Great.
Fourth move.
We have 2 more.
I think we're right on time.
Yes.
Okay,
all right.
Fourth move is we got to move forward and backwards, in and out. And this is really important for and this is my teaching children flawless trick. I say, this is your car. Your car is going to go in the garage, out of the garage. What it's not going to do is it's not going to turn its wheels that way. It's not going to turn its wheels that way or anything. It's just going to go straight in or out. This is really helpful for 2 things. The first is one that I see kids do all the time, but I see adults do too, including advanced adults. And that is when you have a situation where your thumb is playing, you're in the white key area or something, and then your thumb suddenly has to play on a black key. Let's see if I got one of these. Okay, like in the Bach. Okay, people are here, they say, oh, I got to get my thumb to there. What do? They do something reachy and twisty and swivelly like that, and they get all bent out of shape because they got to put their thumb on the black key. If you plan a couple notes beforehand that you're going to move this way, you're going to take your car in the garage, you can get your arm in a place so that all the finger has to do is drop. And in fact, the first student is going to play a Bach prelude. There's something in the very 3rd measure or something that does exactly that. So that's the first situation we need this in and out motion to deal with white key to black key to white key, particularly on the thumb, or if we have to, suddenly do something in C major and then go to G flat major or something. Okay, and then the second thing is more for ease. So you'll notice I put little blue tabbies on here just to show.
Right, I wanted to ask you about that.
This is just for our in and out. Okay, so here the key is lighter. The further you get in the key, it's heavier, and so it's harder to play. There are times, of course, where we have to play in here and we find our way. But if you're playing, for instance, a C scale, it is much more advantageous, particularly for speed, to play not quite at the edge because that feels like you're falling off, but a little under the mid line right here. If I tell somebody to do that initially, what do? They get out of their natural hand shape and they try to cover up these spots. If instead we use our arm to adjust over these key spots and to take the finger, so all they have to do is drop. All the fingers have to do is this, and they can keep maintain their shape, and you'll get a lot of speed on a scale, and so forth. So very useful, particularly anytime you're trying to play a lot of white keys with great speed. To make these little adjustments, something like a repeated note too. The second student is playing a lot of repeated notes. It's really helpful to come out on the second finger and then pivot back in. It just gets you the speed for your repeated notes, etc. One more move. And this is the icing on the cake. This one is both interpretive and technical. So this move is our circular movements. And if you do this in the air, like so forth, you will find you're going to get quite fatigued quickly. It's very, because the muscles have to stop this movement and then start it, and it's really tiring. If we do this in the air, it will take longer for you to get tired. I won't say you're going to get tired. You do it for a few minutes, you probably will. But
it's almost like I'm relaxing my hands.
Yeah, exactly. So circular movements are more efficient than straight lines in the body. We can move in two different ways in terms of circles. We can make a rainbow shape like this, and we can make, I call this the smiley face. So we can go up, 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 down, down, or we can start at level and we can go down, 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 up, up. Sometimes you do it more like a little tiny mini one because it doesn't feel great to go too low. So you can go this way or that way. And what's great about this is it makes everything smaller, and it's also much more expressive than just playing, just playing in straight lines. So I have this little one here as an example. Let's see, what time is it? We got 3 minutes. I'm just going to quick show you a little fur-elise because everybody knows this piece and it's an intermediate.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how these would apply in each one of these. Okay, this is and so forth. So the first thing we might have to do here is we're going to have to rotate. That's nice because it's all changed the direction, so we can do our rotation. And also, we can use our arm to navigate this distance here. Even if you can't really reach an octave, some younger students or some students with smaller hands have trouble reaching an octave, you can use your arm to get you from note to note. Now here we got a great example of some shaping. I can do a little mini rainbow shape, and then I can do another one over this 5-finger. And I can also do a little in and out, just so I play more on closer to the edge of the white keys. And so forth. And if I wanted to show a little bit of this move here, it would be very helpful to do some high fives, plus maybe a little rotation for these guys here. That will really ensure that each of those chords or intervals has a forearm supporting it, so it isn't just your fingers trying to get those notes down. There we go. And I think we have done exactly the right amount of time. Do you have anything?
Yes, and I think as you can probably see on your screen as well, we have a audience asking, how do these movements translate to learning a piece faster, which was mentioned at the beginning? Is it that you limit your movements only to the advantageous ones? Would you like to answer that?
It's usually one or two things that's going wrong in a passage if you're having trouble. But I wouldn't say all 5 are necessarily going at all times, but there's usually 2 or 3 going at all times. And you just have to sort of figure out what's missing. If you're finding that you're getting swivelly at the wrist, you probably need some more in and out. If you find you're not getting enough speed or you feel you're very fingery, you probably need some rotation. If you find that your playing is very flat and it has no sense of line to it, just sounds like no, 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 note, you probably need some circles. So it all depends on.
Right. It all depends on what the problem is. I guess identifying the problem, and that's why you need on top of watching our masterclass, you need also a teacher that can identify the problem.
Do.
Yes. Right.
And I always say, I've been taking piano lessons for several decades at this point in my life, and I haven't stopped, and that's because just Michael Phelps needs a coach. I think a lot of people think you take lessons up to a certain time and then you go to school and then you'll never have to take one again. But I find it's really helpful to have an expert eye watching what I'm doing and saying, are you really doing that correctly? Or maybe if I'm having something I haven't really thought through, they can say, you could try this, and this. So.
Exactly, and when we're practicing, we're our own coach as well, right? We need to get better at identifying our own problems, and once we identify those problems, we can apply, your moves and making sure that we play more at ease and play in a more, I guess, I don't want to say correct or incorrect, but just a more scientifically better way. How about that?
We want to work with our body rather than working against it, is what I would
Exactly.
say.
Exactly. Great. Well, we're right on time, and thank you so much for that 30 minutes of wisdom. Really appreciate it. As our regular audience know, now is time for the masterclass portion of the show. So we will have two piano players who will be taking 30-minute lessons, a masterclass from you. So the first performer of tonight is Julius Chan, and I think he is from New York. So,
Hey,
hi, Julius. Welcome to Piano Star Masterclass. All right, so usually I'm in the background in this portion. So if you need me, just shout my name.
And are you 8 years old, Julius? Is that right?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so you're playing some Bach, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're ready to play?
Yes.
Okay, I'm dying to hear it. Whenever you're ready. Do you need a reminder, Julius? I can give you one. Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. So you can have your thumb on a B flat there, or I guess your third finger on E. And you can use your music if you want. That's fine if that's helpful. And your left hand have a big C sharp down in the bass. Maybe that's what's throwing you. That's fine. Here, go from here. Can you go from the running notes? Excellent. Okay. So do you know who this piece was written for? Do you have any idea? If you don't, that's okay. I can tell you. This piece was written for Bach's oldest son. And he was just a little older than you. I think he was 9 when he wrote this piece for him. He actually wrote this whole set of pieces for him. And I liked a lot of what you did in this piece. I know you had that little memory slip there. That happens. But this is a masterclass. There was once a very famous pianist named Earl Wild, who I saw give a masterclass once. And he says, don't worry, it's not a performance. The whole point is we're here to do work. We're here to do business. So our business is to make things easier for you and make you feel secure about stuff. And what I really liked about it is, one, that you had some very beautiful shapes in your playing, and 2, that you did some really nice ornaments. Those ornaments are very tricky, and a lot of students just leave them off because they find them too difficult. And you did them very well. Other than your little memory slip, is there anything in this piece that gives you trouble that you want to look at first, or that you have questions about?
No.
No? Okay. So should you want to just go from the beginning? Okay, so let's go from the beginning. I'm going to show you some stuff in it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a close-up. Let me know if you can't see my hand or anything, because it all depends on what device you're in and how big your screen is. All that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a close-up of my hand. We have this very nice opening here. It's really, the shapes go like this. So there's a feeling of you're going to play this key, you're going to get a little higher, and then come back down to your thumb. Can you try that right there, just that first little opening, and leave out the first note if you can. So you're going to not play that first thumb. You're just going to be 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1. That's very nice. So we end up making sort of a circle. We make a little here and come up. Do it one more time just to get that nice shape in your hand. Excellent. Now what's cool about this piece is he doesn't write da, ba, 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 ba. He changes the rhythm. He goes yum thum 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 thum. So it creates this little syncopation. I don't know if you know that word. It's okay if you don't. Can you try just up to there? That's very good. Make sure you go to that thumb each time. Try it one more time. Great. Okay, you want to add the left hand to it, just to there? Good. Okay, now I got a question for you. Do you think this is a happy piece? Do you think it's a sad piece? Do you think it's an angry piece? Do you think it's an exciting piece?
I think it's a sad piece.
You think it's sad? Okay, can you play it? There's a lot of different ways to play this piece, and if you go into YouTube, you can hear 5 different people play it. Because Bach doesn't tell us. He doesn't tell us whether it's supposed to be fast or slow, or even what the dynamics are. So we can make it up a little bit to ourselves. Can you, in that case, play it very sad for me? Can you play... and so forth. Can you make it very sad? stop you for 1 second. I want to bring out something. That time you played it, it was very beautifully phrased, very musical, and I really heard the sadness in your playing. There's a very cool spot in this section that you just played where Bach surprises us a little bit. I'm going to play it not the way Bach wrote it, but the way we would expect to see it. And I'll maybe have you do the same thing. I'm going to play without the ornaments just so it's easy to hear. That's what we expect to go on there. I don't know. But Bach does something else. He goes to this major chord, which is very much a surprise. He goes to this B flat major chord. So he does. Which we weren't expecting at all. Can you do the following? And if this is too tricky, that's fine. But can you go from here? And then play, let's see, D and F. Oh, sorry, F and A there. Does that make sense? I'm going to tell you to play the wrong notes. So instead of playing, we're going to play F, D, A, F. Can you play that one? Just F, D, A, F. Nice. It's actually very much like the opening. Okay, let's go from here. And just leave out the left hand. Can you do just the right hand there? Anywhere that's easy to start from. Now can you change this to A there? Because I think that's what we're doing. Okay. Now we're going to do with the B flat like we do it originally. But can you do a big change in the sound when you get there? Can you come way down for that B flat chord there? Yeah, it's very nice. Can you go from a little earlier? Let's see if we can bring that. So you're just going to drop your dynamic level a little bit when you get there. I'll play it one more time so you can hear it in context. Very nice. Do it one more time just to make it a little more fluid, a little more easy. If you want, you could even do a crescendo. You could do... Getting, and then a sudden drop there. One more time, just from the same spot. Very nice. Okay, now you did that very beautifully. Let me show you what happens next. have one more surprise right here. So when you go for that shift to your E flat there, take just a little bit of time. Sorry. Can you take just a little time getting to that E flat, just so we show that it's also a surprising harmony? You can go from wherever is easy. That was very good. Can you do it one more time? I know that your tricky spot's coming up. Don't worry about it. I just want to bring up this spot. That D to E flat. I think you did it, but you can do even a little more. Can you do it one more time, just what you did? Very good. Okay, now I hear this as a big drive to the running 16th notes, and I know this this section is where you had your problem spot. So if you can't do it right now, that's perfectly fine. But this is just my interpretation. There are many different ways to do it, but I hear this as the following. You could do a crescendo to there, so we get this big exciting build up to where we suddenly get our fast notes. If you run out of keys, that's perfectly fine, but just even get the expression of it. Where's an easy spot to go from? Do you want to do it? You can do it at the turn of the page. That's fine. You may have the same addition as me. Would it be easy to do just one hand? Would it be easy to do just the right hand, maybe? That was very good. Yeah, do it one more time. Have you ever ridden a roller coaster before? You have, okay, yeah. So when you're at a roller coaster, you go to the very top, and then you go, and that's exactly what Bach does here. So it sort of goes over and then it flies down. Can you do that one more time and get that feeling like you're going up that roller coaster and then you're going overboard? Very nice. That was so musical. I really liked everything you did there. Keep it going because we don't really stop the tension. Until we get to there. Can you do that whole page maybe? Very nice. Okay, that was excellent. Do you think you can do from here? To there without too much slowing down? Do you think you could keep it all in one tempo? Or is it too hard to get that? Well, try it out. You can go from the same top of the page again if that helps. Very good. Do you think this piece ends sad? Does it have a sad ending or I'm not sure if it's a happy ending, but do you think it a calm ending? What do you think?
Sad.
You think it's sad? It could be sad, absolutely. You know, Bach likes to do this thing. They did this a lot in the Baroque, where they end minor pieces with a major chord. So to me, this has the sense of maybe we went through a lot. And we had this feeling of everything just sort of calming down after all this crazy, this craziness. I'm going to have you play the whole piece one more time, but I want you to do something for me, and it's a little silly, but can you put your hands up? Because I think this will be the easiest way to do it on camera, like so forth. You can have your hands out or whatever, and we're going to make the shape like a side-to-side 8. So can you go like this and make some things like that? Nice. Now, of course, I keep on playing this faster than your tempo, so I'll try not to do this too fast because I end up speeding you up. But we're gonna do ya ba 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 ya ba 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 ya ba 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 ya ba 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 ba. So there's always this feeling that everybody's flowing. And then can you start right from the beginning, see if you can get that very sad feeling that you thought. And we'll just try to keep that nice flowing feeling. That's a good G sharp. And that's like a little mini roller coaster there too. So when you get to the top, you can take a little bit of time on your way down. nice. Very, very musical. It's already improved so much from the first you played it. We got 4 minutes. I want to get to one of 2 technical spots, so you can pick which one. Do you want to do this one? Or do you want to do... Which of those 2 would you prefer to do? First or the second? The second one. Okay. You seem to get tripped up somewhere. I just want to figure out why you get tripped up. So can you go from here? Try right there, and then I'm going to stop you in 1 second. But so it's something going on with this one here where we started on our G. Let me give you a close-up. And I don't have the greatest view of your hand, so I'm just going to guess a little bit. But if we just go from the G, how does it go? So we're going to go from, actually, can you go to, just do these 3 notes. Can you do G, F, E, in your left hand? Okay, I want you to play G, F, E, and then go to your lap. Yep, and bring your hand to your lap, and then come back up for your D, and what we want to feel is that everybody's going in that direction. You can put them together. I might be doing a different fingering than you. I'm not sure which distribution you're doing. That's fine. Nice. Can I see you do it one more time? Come here, and then go to your lap, and then play yum bum bum bum. Okay. One more time. Let's speed it up a little bit. We'll go to your lap, and then do yum bum bum bum. That's it. Very nice. Can you throw your 4th finger at that F? Like you're going to throw a ball at it. Yes. Oh, very nice. Try that one more time. Whatever fingering you're using, do it one more time. That's very good. Good. Okay, let's see if we can string them together. So we got bum bum ba yum bum bum bum. Excellent. One more time. Get that nice throw. That was very nice. Good sound, good rich sound. Excellent. Okay. Julius, I believe you are all done, unless Brian has something else he wants to do. But do you have any questions or anything? No, I think you did a very good job. 8 years old. It's a big piece for an 8-year-old. I think you did an excellent job with it. How long have you been taking piano lessons, Julius? Do you know what age you started? Were you 4 or 5 or 6? 5. Okay, you made very good progress. So congratulations. I think you did very well. Oh, sorry, no sound, Brian.
There you go. I muted myself. Yeah, I was saying congratulations, Julius. I definitely agree. You did a wonderful job. And thank you again for joining us at the Piano Star Masterclass.
Thank you, Julius.
Thank you, Julius. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. It's such a even though it's not a performance, it's such a nerve-wracking experience. But I'm sure a very good experience for young kids to, to be in this environment of a non-competitive, I think, environment where they get to perform. So we have our next performer and second and last performer of tonight. His name is Jeremy Liu, and I think he's 1 year older than Julius. Let's bring him in.
Hi.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi.
All right, I'll let you guys do it.
Jeremy, where are you from?
I'm from Naperville, Illinois.
Oh, you're in Illinois. Awesome. Okay. This is a huge piece. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, whenever you're ready, you can play. Bravo! Very well, very nicely done. How long have you been working on this piece, Jeremy?
About 1 or 2 years.
Okay, oh, a long time. Well, it shows you put great work into this. It's really, it's a bravura performance. Have you performed this one a lot in public before? Have you played it for other people a lot?
Not really, but I use this piece in a lot of competitions.
So you clearly know it very, very well. You've worked on it a lot. Do you have any particular questions about the piece? You're zooming right through it, but are there any spots that you don't feel, or you feel confident about, or anything like that you want to look at first? This is a big piece.
Not really.
No, I know you're quite confident with it. What's a waltz? Do you have any idea what a waltz is?
Oh, no, that's my only one.
What's that?
This is my only one.
Oh no, what is a waltz? You know what a waltz is?
Yeah, it's a dancing piece.
Yes, it's a dance. And it's a dance where the emphasis is on the first beat. So and so forth. And part of what makes this piece tricky is that Chopin does something he likes to do a lot. He plays a single note on the bass, and then he plays a big chord on the second and third beats.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to make those too heavy because there's 3 notes rather than 1 note. You don't have to play, you can play whatever speed you want. Can you play just that opening? And can you play a little, let's see, can you stand up for 2 seconds?
Okay.
Okay, I don't know we're on camera, and you fit better on camera than I do. But can you do? I'll do it backwards. Can you do right, left, left, right, left, left? Because that's a waltzy move. You do right, left, left, right. Or actually, how about right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. So we have this feeling of and a little bit of strong light, light, strong light, light, strong light, light, strong light, light. Can you get that feeling just in the left hand here? Can you do it by itself once? Strong and so forth.
Okay.
Just the left hand. Just for the first few measures. That's it. Do it one more time. And he does throw that little finger where he goes ba ba da ba da da da. Good. Now here's what I'm hearing a little bit, and I'm being detailed with you because you know this piece very well. I'm hearing a little strong, light, strong, strong, light, strong. Can you make your second chord even softer than the first chord? Bum, ja, da, ba, ba. Does that make sense? Very nice. And I'm going to show you a little trick for this. This is useful for any, you may be doing this already. I can't see that well with the close-up on the camera, but in case you're not, anytime we have a repeated chord or even a repeated note, if we just go a little bit in towards the piano, so if we move a little tiny that way, just a little bit like we're changing fingerprints or something, it immediately changes the sound of the chord because we're just hitting it in a slightly different place or playing it in a slightly different place. Can you try that on those chords there? Play this one just at the edge of the key and the next one, you know, a millimeter forward. Good. Okay. I think that's already better. It has more of that waltzy feeling to it. Okay. I hear a shape to this opening. I know it starts out forte, but I think the most important part is this part where we have that chord right there. Even though it says forte, he also writes these little hairpins where it gets bigger. So can you get just a little bit larger on each one? Yum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, yum. And then spend a little extra time on that big chord at the top. Good. Now, I may have a different edition than you do. Do you know what dynamic comes right after this one? Yum. Does it have a dynamic, Martin, in your edition right after? Okay, what is it right? We have an FZ, and what comes in the next measure?
It says piano.
Piano, good. So can you come way down after you do that big chord there? Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, yum. Ba-ba-bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, yum, ba-da-dum, and so forth. Great. Okay, let's try the next section. Do you know what leggermente means? Do you know what the word leggermente? You may not have in your edition. I have a very good text here, so I know it isn't made up, but oh, sorry, say it one more time.
It's not in my piece.
Oh, it's not in your piece? Okay, well, my part says leggermente. It could be from a different edition or something. That means very lightly. So can you play the next section very lightly where you have all the repeated notes? Good. Okay, now start them out softer so that you can build to, rather than be which sounds sort of unmusical, having every measure be like have a foot stomp on it. Can you do? Can you make each a little crescendo on those repeated notes? Very nice, yeah. One more time. Start it even quieter. Can you start those repeating notes even quieter? So they have somewhere to build from. Very nice. That was very musical. Okay, keep going on, and then I'll point out a couple things. So you want to go from the same spot and just keep playing? I'll stop you in a minute. But good. That was very nice. So let's look at this next section. I meant to ask you, do you if there was going to be played by an orchestra, what instrument do you think would play the very opening of the piece? The bum, ba bum, ba bum. What instrument do you think would be playing it?
I think maybe a drum.
Oh, I think drum would be accurate too. Can you think of one that would do notes? Bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. I don't know how well you know your orchestra instruments. This is me, this is anybody's interpretation. But this is my personal interpretation. I hear the opening played by a trumpet or by brass.
Oh, yeah.
Drum accompaniment. I think maybe, yes, drums would definitely be in there. So in this next section, we have a change of character. We've had all this really fast running notes and this big, the whole orchestra is playing. I think this is a dialogue between two parts. And maybe it's, and this is again my own interpretation, but maybe it's strings, and then not too loud, but a little bit of a trumpet there. Can you play very slow into the key so you get a nice easy sound on this Very good. Start each of, just like how you did in the repeating notes. Can you start each of your can you start them quiet so that you can build to the third one? In my edition, we have it. Good. Okay, there's one more detail I want to bring out in this section. Let me just keep an eye on the clock. So yes, we have plenty of time. Okay, we got this nice thing here, right? That bit in there, right? Okay, in this part, I think it's very nice to bring out, in addition to the yappa-bum, ba-ba-ba, to bring out the left hand a little bit, the top voice of the left hand. So this would be the tenor voice. So let me give you a close-up. Can you bring out these notes a little bit? Do you know where that is? This is in... Yes, that's exactly it. Do it one more time. That time I really heard that thumb note. That was good. Excellent. Okay. To the next bit. You know what my interpretation for the next bit is? This is like a, you know, it's a waltz. So they're people at a party or something. I think whenever he has these little yep, it's people going like that. Can you make it very funny when you play this bit? When you do the actually, yeah, go ahead. Play the next section for me. Good. Okay, now I want to show you something in here. This section, you know, Champagne, in my edition at least, doesn't write a dynamic marking, but he does write a ton of articulation. And I think you can bring out the articulation at this point more. So, can you try just that little chunk right there? Yum, bum, yum, ba-da-dum. Good. Can you come off, sorry, with your pedal, try coming off on the second beat. Yum. So we really hear this rest in the right hand. Now I got a question for you. Is it easier to climb up a mountain or go down a mountain? Do you have any idea? Have you ever climbed a mountain before? Or have you ever gone hiking or anything like that?
go down a mountain.
Yes, you got it. So gravity makes things a little harder for us. When we have to sing like to a high note or something, it's usually harder to just go than it is go just because we have to fight against gravity. In each of these, we have these leaps, and it's pretty easy for us to do as a pianist because we just flop our hand around. But we want this to sound very melodic at this point. So. Every time you go for a high note, can you take just the tiniest bit of time? Yum bum yum bum 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 yum bum yum bum yum bum yum. Take a little time going for those very top notes. And Chopin does something very, very funny here. He could have done like this. That would be sort of an ordinary. Instead, he does heavy, right, heavy. So he puts it on he puts it on the wrong syllable. He goes, "How are you today?" rather than "How are you today?" So can you bring that thumb note out a little bit? Yum, 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 yum. So it has a little feeling of being off kilter a bit. Nice. Do it one more time, just because I couldn't hear that one thing. Okay. Okay, now this is the part I meant because I was looking in the wrong spot. This is where the laughs come in. So can you try the next section here? Up, yup, up, yup, up, ha, 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 ha. It's something I want you to try. And if you hate it, you don't have to do it. But this is just my suggestion here. Do you see that Chopin writes these big hairpins, these things that look like, crocodiles' mouths or whatever? Okay. This is a belief of mine, and I think it's backed by various people. But my belief is that often in Chopin, when he writes that, he's not just talking about loud and soft. He's not just talking about crescendo diminuendo, but he's also talking about a little mini rubato. Do you know what rubato is? Do you know what that word is? Yeah. So a little taking time. So I was just doing this with the other student. We have the feeling of going down a roller coaster. So we're going up. So we're at the top and we go, yeah. So yum, 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 yum. Can you start a little slower at the top of that and then get faster as you go down? Up, yup, up, yup, up, yum, bum, bum. Yeah. Great. Now we're using another hairpin. Do you see another one? Sorry, I didn't mean. I should have let you play the whole thing. Do you see another hairpin somewhere like that? It's gonna be a smaller one.
I don't really see hair.
You may be missing in your score. Oh, you want to know a measure number? Do you have them? 140. I know you've probably been playing this piece by memory for a long time. So, so if you look at measure 140, there's a hairpin, but it's going the other way. So instead of going from big to small, it's going from small to big. So I would do a yup, up, up, yup, up, up, yup, up, yum. Can you take the little bit of time when you see that one? To that one there? That was excellent. Yeah, that really had a shape to it. Yum ba 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 yum ba 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 yum ba ba and so forth. Do it one more time and then you can go on. Great. Stop for 1 second. We just have like 2 minutes. I want to show you one little spot in here, but do you have any other questions or anything you're confused about that I said today? All good?
I'm not really confused.
Good. Okay. So this is something that was written in one of Chopin's student scores. So it may not be in your music, but I think it's kind of cool. By the way, there's a piece, you can look it up on YouTube, called Chopin. That's the name of the piece. It's by Robert Schumann, and I think he gets inspired by the little tune in here for it. But we get... Can you play the first one a little stronger, the second one a little lighter? Nice. Right there. Here's what Chopin writes in his student score. He writes a tenuto mark, a little dashy thing, and he writes it on every one of these notes. So I'll play these notes for you. First time he doesn't, he writes Can you play it like it's the first time? So it's very smooth and sort of light. Great. Can you play just a little arm and a little bit like you're stuck in the mud on each key? Da dee dee da da da. Great. Okay. We didn't get to the coda, but I think we got through a good chunk of the piece. You play it very well. You clearly worked on it for a long time, and you've worked out all the various details. At this point, I think it's just about making it even more musical than what you're doing, but it's really a very bravura performance. So bravo. Congratulations. Oh, no mic. Brian.
I turn off the mic every time I hop off, but I was just saying, good job, great job, actually, Jeremy, and thank you for joining us at the Piano Star Masterclass.
Welcome.
All right, wow. So as you were telling me before the show, you have been teaching since noon today. I don't know how you get that energy, but
well, you get the energy from the students, right?
Right. And I learned so much from, even though they were 2 short masterclasses, but I think me as well as the audience have taken a lot away from it, and I'm sure they can use it in their own teaching or performing. So thank you again. It's been such a privilege and pleasure to invite you to our masterclass.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Great. So without further ado, that's the end of our episode. Make sure for people that are watching, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, every social media channel. And of course, you can sign up to be a performer for our masterclasses. Thank you. Have a great rest of the evening. Happy practicing. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.